I welcome you back to our ongoing work of walking our way through the Gospel of Matthew. In this selection, we find ourselves in Matthew chapter 18, and we are going to be looking at verses 30 and 31. I am going to be reading out of the Moffat translation of the New Testament. Matthew chapter 18 and verses 30 and 31. Have patience with me and I will pay you. But he refused. He went and had him thrown into prison till he should pay the debt. Now, when his fellow servants saw what had happened, they were greatly distressed, and they went and explained to their master all that had happened. The one thing I see of Jesus time and time again, is that he was an astute reader of where people were. In a way, there are two extremes when it comes to viewing people that one can have. On the one hand is what we could call idealism. And this we are talking of the view that if you create the right environment, you will eliminate human problems. This is the premise of the Star Trek franchise. In fact, if you take one of the Star Trek Next Generation movies, one of the key events is the story of the individual who created the technology that allowed human society to evolve out of or move out of a needs-based environment, and where all of a sudden their needs were met, and therefore human society became functional, good, and healthy. This vision of the future is only possible when you view human beings through a lens of idealism. Look at the communist dilemma. It preaches that you can have a labor utopian on earth. Understand, at the core, that's what communism is about. And what do we see? Very dysfunctional societies that evolve out of countries that have a communist system for generations. They are not healthy. They are not ideal. Jesus did not buy into the idealism view when it came to people. On the other extreme is the view that people are irredeemable. In a simple reading of the caste system in India, and please allow, I'm making a very simple reading of it. You have this view. One's present status of life is linked to what one was done in a previous life. If you are born into a lower caste, you deserve that plight. In that sense, the person is irredeemable. This attitude is found in some circles when it comes to inner city Black American youths. In cases where they have been raised in dysfunctional homes, dysfunctional communities, dysfunctional schools, and so on, there is all these problems in which these American youth have been raised in. Well, they're irredeemable. There's nothing we can do. They have been totally corrupted by our system. So in some people's eyes, they are irredeemable. Jesus would say no to that. Jesus puts no one beyond the possibility of being transformed by grace. Jesus bought neither into the idealism view of humanity, nor the view that humanity is irredeemable. Jesus saw the potential that all people had, but only if they experience grace. Grace here is the great leveler. When you look at this man who had been forgiven a great debt, you see a man who had been redeemed. Here is someone who should have known better. Notice how Jesus understood only too well the human condition. He understood that people who experience something as marvelous as grace could in turn be petty and hateful. Jesus understood that what is good and noble in the faith does not necessarily change the hearts of some people. There are those who see it as something for them and not for them to extend to others. In verse 31, we are told that the unmerciful servant's actions were told to his master. The people who told the master were stunned by the behavior of the ungrateful individual. There is a point where it is not about what you first believed or why you believe. It is not about what you know about the faith or who you know in the church. It is whether you live it out. The Christian faith is hard, for it not only gives us what we need, but it also demands of us what we do not want. Do you get that? It not only provides what we need, but it also demands of us something that we do not want to do. You see, there is a grace to be had at the cross, and that grace is to be accepted freely. But that grace comes with a tremendous cost. That's the story of this parable. Grace received means that we in turn must be dispensers of that grace in a world that needs redemption. You see, God did not see our world as irredeemable. Let us be people of grace, that through us people can see him.